Hello, welcome back to the Fish Locker Workshop. I'm going to talk about now one of my spinning rods. I generally refer to any light fixed spool rod that has a small fixed spool reel as a spinning rod. But this is a light boat rod, and it's the Nomura IZU SW. SW I'm assuming means saltwater. IZU being IZU, IZU, and it's the 12 to 20 pound class. Now it's 2.1 metres long, 7 foot long. It has a screw-in reel seat, 2 sections. You can see it is nice and whippy on the end. Just really simple. If you've noticed any of my fishing or any of my videos, anything like that, I like to keep things really simple. I think this is perfectly that. It says on here it is a carbon blank, but not that means an awful lot to most people. I couple it with an Abu Cardinal reel, and you can see all you do is you just slip it straight in like that, and it's a screw-in reel seat. And there you're away. Dead simple, very little to go wrong. I use this for lots. I use it for all of my lure work, from the shore or from the boat. I use it for my slow jigging. I use it for live baiting even. I use it for light bait stuff, like fishing on shallow reefs, or fishing like up in the estuaries for bass or for bream, everything. I use it on the piers. There's not many scenarios where I don't use this, just because I thought I'll test it out on everything until I find where it can't cope, and then I'll stop doing it. And so far, unless you're fishing in excess of 150 feet of water, this thing copes very well. I've had fantastic fish. I've had dozens of cracking bass on it. I've had a couple of double figure pollock live baiting. I've had a couple on lures. I've had big bullus. I've had plenty of bream, mullets even, thornback rays, fishing in the estuaries, fishing light. This handles them perfectly. It has got good bite indication. Like I said, the tip is, when I can untangle it, the tip is nice and whippy, and yet it's got plenty of power in the back of it. I'm going to put a load of little clips into here showing it in different scenarios. I'll show it catching bass, I'll show it catching pollock on live baits, I'll show it catching thornback rays in the estuaries. I'll put it in where I can. Oh, it is a very nice bass. What an amazing way to start the day. My goodness, that is an absolute chunk. That'll be possibly 7 or 8 pound. Look at that fish. Look at the size of that fish. Look at how broad it is. Look at the depth. The size of that belly there, look. What an absolute beast of a bass. There's the lure that I took it on. What an incredible fish. Oh, I'm absolutely buzzing. You see that there?
Right, now off back of the tank, right? You can manage to keep them coming through the kelp, it's okay, but nice fish.
See the lure in its mouth. See what I got it on there. That's one of the Skerry's real eels. Whoa, what is it? It's a very, very pretty female ray. There she is. A lovely looking female thornback ray. Spin around. There she is. It's dead simple, which is one of the things that I love. It doesn't cost an awful lot, which is another thing that I love. And so far, it's been incredibly robust. The brand, the Nomura brand, I didn't know too much about it. Up until last year, I bought this at the start of the summer. Up until that point, I've been using BlackRock Hellboys. I'd had one for about 5 years, and it was fantastic. It was a lot like this rod, a little bit pokey, a good tip, bends right down to the butt, simple. And for about 5 years, it was fantastic. And then when I finally come to retire it, I thought, I tell you what, I'll replace that like for like. And the new one I bought was rubbish. It broke within a couple of months. Reel seat all knackered up. This bit fell out the reel seat. One of the eyes came off. I got a splinter. I just thought, no, they've changed something in it, so I'll shop around. If anybody who's watched any of my videos or any of that, you'll generally tell that I don't like spending an awful lot of money for kit that could get damaged. But also, when I'm buying stuff, I like to have people's opinions first. I don't like to read the manufacturer's blurb because they're just trying to sell you it. They'll only tell you the good. I like to speak to the end user when I'm buying stuff like this. When I'm buying my reels or I'm buying my rods or I'm doing anything. I asked around and I was recommended these Nomuras by a guy called Remy Naftel, who's like a bass whisperer. I highly regard his opinion. And also Tony Potters from Lizard Tackle and Bait. Two guys who I highly regard their opinions. They said, try this. So I took the plunge and I got it. And I tell you what, I have not found it wanting once. It's great. It's 7 foot long. So if you're casting off a pier, if you're casting off the lower level of a pier, it's not too long that you're going to touch the top. It's got enough poke in it that you can really lean into a cast and get those little metal lures out. It's I use it on the boat for my inshore bass low fishing. It's been fantastic. Texas rigging, soft plastics for wrasse, perfect. Live baiting with sand eels and joeys for pollock and bass in less than 100 feet of water, fantastic. Anchoring up in estuaries, anything up to 100 feet of water for thornback rays, bullus, that type of thing, works perfectly. And I just couple it with a really cheap reel as well. I think I've got £25 braid on there, and I feel that it matches perfectly. I use this mullet fishing as well, or fishing for flounders, fishing for schoolie bass, that type of thing. It has got a really good action in it, bends all the way to the butt. You can really lean into those bigger fish, and with it being a 12 to 20, when you do find one of those bigger fish, it will handle it. I would like to be able to say something bad about it, just to be able to try and give you some type of broad, like a well-rounded review on it. When I find something bad about it, I will tell you. I suppose the only thing, if I'm going to be nitpicking, is like the metal coating around here. One day when I came in from fishing, I put it straight in a van, and then I didn't wash it that night, and I took it out the next day, and it had started to blister a little bit with rust. So you can see all I've done is I've just got a Scotch-Brite and I've just cleaned it off. If I'm going to be pedantic, that's all I'll say. I'll just say that the coating came off within like 10 hours overnight of a little bit of salt water. Just because I didn't clean it off that evening, and the following morning when I came to use it, it had already started to rust. That's the only thing. And that almost could be a dig at myself for saying, well, I should have been more thorough about cleaning my gear, but I would have hoped that it could have lasted more than a couple of hours without going rusty. It's got a lovely little bait clip, lure clip on there, which some rods don't have, so it protects your eyes if you're going to be clipping your lure onto there. I haven't got much else to say about it. It's the Nomura IZU SW 12 to 20. It's cracking. I love it. Little ergonomic grip. I like the fact that the butt there also isn't longer than my elbow. So when I'm playing a fish on the boat like this, I'm not catching it on stuff like my life jacket or anything. And when it's all together, on the boat, if I'm fishing from the boat, I don't like a rod that's too long, because when you come into trying to net a fish, you can never get to it because the rod's right up in the air where you're holding it round. So 7 foot for me is perfect. I will, like I say, I'll put some clips into here of me using the rod. But I've had my PB, low caught, ball and wrasse, I've had tons of bass, I've had pollock, thornback rays, bullus. We even had a conger eel on it. Didn't intend on catching a conger eel on it. Conger eel took a ray bait, but it landed it fine. It's cracking. I hope this has helped when you're making your decisions about what rods to get next. Like I say, I call it a spinning rod, sorry, but it is effectively, it's a light boat rod. Perfect for slow jigs, perfect for lures, perfect for live baiting, as long as you're not going too deep. As soon as you start going too deep, you've got to use a little bit too much lead, and it just bends the tip over a bit too much, so you lose a bit of your give. But other than that, it's fantastic in my opinion. Have a good one.